let's get Wiz Khalifa high, yeah. Get meditated up and medicated, get Wiz Khalifa high, yeah. Throw your caps in the air like you know you.
A lot of the product nowadays, you're busy, you got a family, you got a young son, you got lots of projects, but do you have any, because I'm just thinking about it now because of the streak, do you have any, get any feedback on Twitter or have any thoughts on the Undertaker's winning streak ending at WrestleMania so abruptly and surprisingly at
Yeah, I mean, people were in an uproar about it, and everybody's got an opinion. It's like a butt, but I mean, hey, the reality is Mark was in the business way before I was in the business, and I know Mark from back in the Atlanta days, and back in those nightclub days, and when he was rocking the world back then. And that was years before I even got in the business. And let's talk about since I've been out 10 years, he's still been doing sporadic appearances. And so, there does come a time, when he's got a family and, his body's going to deteriorate like anybody else's. I mean, whether it's Taker or whether it's Goldberg, when you get older, man, things catch up to you.
Yeah.
And there's always got to be a time. And, hey, what more worthy opponent to lose to than Brock Lesnar? Because even in the fictitious world and the unrealistic world sometimes of professional wrestling, I'd rather be beat by no other person. Because physically, in reality, Brock can rip guys' heads clean off their shoulders. And so what a formidable opponent to lose to.
Right.
Whether he's a part-timer or not, that's a different discussion. But the reality is he puts people in seats. He did it in the UFC. He does it in WWE. If used properly, he can be a force to be reckoned with. So, I really don't. JR, I haven't watched a product in years.
I got
you. I didn't see Taker lose. I just hear through the grapevine, how it went down, and I talk to Brock frequently, and we don't talk business. None of the boys and I ever talk business.
That's good. Obviously, I had a great deal with Time Warner, and which is cool, matter of fact, we had the same agent, at least at the time. You had the same agent I have now, and he does good work. And then I look back at your career from the professional side. You mentioned earlier you've been away 10 years, and I'm there in head of talent relations in 2003, 2004. McMahon running the company, obviously, he was a horse's head and I was a horse's ass. I get that. But, when you look back at your WWE run, it seems like, and this to me this is a positive, it seems like you were there longer because you were really ubiquitous in the opponents that you wrestled a lot of different guys, but you're only in WWE a year. And it seems like to me you debuted right after WrestleMania 19 in 2003. But I go back and look and say, well, Goldberg works with Rock, major programs, Rock, Jericho, Triple H, Lesnar, in a year. So, of all those guys, did you have any favorites, or are there any of those guys that really sticks out? Because I happen to think that your program with Rock was one of the ones that, if Rock was ready to leave and go do movies, but that could have been really extraordinary if it had been allowed, with all the variables in play, to be played out longer. I thought that would have been really, really spectacular.
Yeah, I thought they all could have been played out longer. There's no doubt. I mean, we had a time limit on the time that I was contracted to be there. My time there wasn't the most positive by any stretch of the imagination. I think indicative of me going gray with my goatee in 1 year. There were a lot of guys.